Yes, yes. What's up, people? Welcome, welcome. Listen, man, I'm super excited. Listen, if you get a notification right now, you get a notification that I'm live. This is the first episode of 2023. The first is we're gonna take off right now this season, season number 3, and we are set and ready to go, folks. Listen, if you're tuning in right now, you're probably looking at me on your screen like, what is this podcast about? Listen, tune in because I have a special guest today. I have so many things going on right now. I'm super excited. So please share this content before we get started, before we do anything, all right? Because I want to introduce you to a great person, great content, so many great things, all right? So, but first, you gotta promise subscribe and like the channel, all right, guys? Listen, new season of the Young Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. That's right. 2023 is taking off starting right now. This is day 1 for me. I am ready. I am pumped. I'm energized and motivated and everything. All right, guys. Also have a new intro video. I want you to tune into this new video, all right? I created the music and I created the sceneries and the cuts and whatnot. All right. And I want you to give me some feedback as well on this new podcast season. It's a new intro and a new outro video. So I'll see you soon, man. Enjoy it. Go. All right, all right. There you go. There you have it. Give you a up, give you comments, whatever you like to do. I appreciate it. Even if you don't like it, just tell me. Tell me something. This give me some type of feedback or negative. That's okay. That's no problem. I have no problem with that. All right, folks. So listen, guys. Welcome once again to a new season of the Young Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Angel, and coming to you live today, Wednesday, January 4 o'clock Eastern time. You already took it off. So listen, guys, I hope you enjoy this content. If you're watching the replay, please put hashtag replay. All right. Give me a follow, whatever it is. And if you want to be maybe a guest sometime in the near future on this podcast, I would love to have you on this podcast. I don't care if you're an attorney, if you're a professional, radio host, within this podcast. All right. I want to make this. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that intro. I have a little outro video, which is the same music, but you're going to see that at the end, anyhow. So, guys, listen, 2023 has arrived, right? We all have a lot of goals. We have, at the beginning, everything looks good, sounds good, feels right. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot of events going on in the world. So my prayers to everyone who has maybe lost loved one in 2022 towards the end, right? A lot of ups and downs and whatnot. But listen, we gotta stay focused. We gotta stay focused on our goals. We gotta keep moving. This is life is hard. Life is hard. Life is not easy. Life is not easy. Okay. And listen, guys, today I have a special guest as always. Last year in 2022, I actually invited her to start off 2022. What else is that this year, 2023, she's taking off again on the season of the podcast. So, with that said, Aura Martinez is an empowerment coach. I don't want to just focus on just the coach aspect, but she's a speaker, right? And that is the motivational. She's uplifting. She she helps you. And I don't have the exact words. I want her to go ahead and say what she has to say. But today she's gonna bring, I believe it's 5 keys, 5 steps to some It's gonna be some fun. You take notes. All right, listen. I got my pad here. Get your pen and your pad and take some notes. That's why it's very important that sometimes we overlook these podcasts. We think these podcasts is just for someone just to showcase and get followers and views. That's not the way I do this. I don't do quantity. I do quality. Okay, I don't do 100, 500 episodes. That's not my goal. I want to do 1 to 5 episodes that are powerful, that are meaningful, they're going to educate us, they're going to teach me, they're going to teach you. Okay, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, listen, if you're a startup of a business or you already have your feet in there, you're an expert, etc., etc. That's fine. This content is for you and I to get educated. Okay, the people I'm going to invite on these platforms, on this channel, are people who have experience, people who have already made the mistakes for you to avoid at least some of them, right? So listen, guys, tune in, share this content. Is going to be great content. We're going to be talking today about utilizing the power within to make this and every year a great one. Not this one and every year. So Aura, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about her, okay? She has been featured. I'm just gonna mention some places where she has been featured, okay? Because she is not just, which she also has written her own book, okay? She's been featured in Bronx Free Press, the Manhattan Times, Globe, Thrive Global, Rack Up Skills. I haven't even heard none of these, okay? Voyage LA. Listen, she's been featured in many. She has a podcast, okay? Talking to us about her live that she's going to be doing now on every Monday. She's committed to do it every Monday, regardless of whether rain or shine. She wants to educate us. She wants to help us. I mean, come on, guys. It's free content, all right? So listen, with that being said, let's go ahead and welcome. I'm not going to talk no more. Let's go ahead and bring her on because I know you guys don't want to hear me no more. Aura Martinez. How are you, Aura?
Oh my gosh, I am good. How are you?
And please, interruptions. If there's any interruptions, don't worry. Just keep going. Keep going. I'm doing good, Aura. I'm doing good. Thank you for being here and thank you for your time. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. How are you? What's
Well,
going
I
on?
want to say, I want to say thank you so much for having me here. It is such an honor. Really, it is such an honor, like always. And to start this year again in your podcast, seriously, so grateful. So grateful.
It's an honor
And
to have
Mercury
you here, Aura. You have. Go ahead.
Oh no, the Mercury retrograde, I guess, is trying to stop this. Ain't no stopping this. Ain't no stopping this.
Mm-mm. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. When two great minds come together, there's always going to be that negative. Let's just call it that negative energy that wants to interrupt what what positive is going to come out of this. So let's not worry about that. Let's go ahead and take off. Aura, um, it's just for my audience, right, to get to know you a little bit more. I want you to tell your story. Tell your story. Who's Aura? That young Aura Martinez that had her dreams. She had inspirations to be somebody big in life, and today you are who you are. You've written books. You've been on big platforms such as TEDx Talk. I want you to talk about that later as well. And yes, and go ahead. For the people that may not know you on my platform, introduce yourself to the world.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so much to the story, but I'm gonna try to condense it. So I'm a self-discovery and empowerment coach, and I help women gain total clarity in their purpose so they can wake up to daily fulfillment and certainty. I also help men as well because I've worked with men. And I actually started out as a wellness and life coach, helping people get out of the sugar roller coaster. That's how I started this whole coaching thing 10 years ago. Can you believe that? Oh my God. Time flies. Time flies. And and what led me to do the whole self-discovery and
Yeah.
empowerment coaching is that I started noticing that the people that would come to me, and even in my own weight loss journey, which by the way, I'm in that journey again because I gained weight after my dad passed away. That's a whole different story. But, anyways, I started realizing that the people didn't really need help with meal plans or anything like that. There was something else that was affecting their relationship with food and their body. Because whether we realize it or not, we have a relationship with everything. And that's when I realized that if we get to the core of who we really are, like we could literally and simultaneously change several things in our life all at the same time. I know that sounds probably like, really? Can that really happen? Yes, yes, it can really happen because we are the common denominator to everything in our life. And that's something that many times we tend to forget. We are the common denominator in everything in our life. And whether we realize it or not, each and every one of us are having a relationship with absolutely everything. We have a relationship with our money. We have a relationship with our body. We have a relationship with even our own selves. And that relationship that we have with things is what's going to dictate how that area of our life or even of ourselves is going to be. So that's why I do the work that I do currently. And one other aspect about my story, because there's so many other little details that are not so little. Also, what empowers me to do this work is the fact that I've realized that inner work is so critical to us experiencing greater levels of well being and happiness. Many times, the reason why we're stuck, we're frustrated, manifesting the life that we want becomes very difficult. Us seeing ourselves so clearly becomes a challenge just because we have what I like to call layers of things that we have accumulated as we grew up, as we went on in life, and that we continue to accumulate. That doesn't allow us to really live in a way that's so authentic. So that's what empowers me to do this work because this work is so deep, so profound, but so transformational.
That's awesome. That's awesome because it's, and I like how you said relationships where you, and it's true because everything that's around with not relationship, job, right? I
Yeah.
have a relationship. It involves a lot. So there's something that I've heard you also say recently that I was following you, some of your had spoken about how important it is with self love. Correct me,
Yes.
if I'm wrong, with about self love the other day, and I was thinking about it because and I invite everyone to join her group because she has a Facebook group where she brings a lot of content and more because sometimes people look for that love outside.
Mhm. It froze. It
They
froze right now.
don't realize seeing it well very important when people are looking for exterior. Oh, I know it kept going out. What are your thoughts, or can you talk about that? About that love. What is that self love that you talk about on your and your?
It's interesting that you mentioned that because that touches on today's topic. Utilize the power within to make this and every year a great one. And self love is one of those powers that we have within, right? I consider that to be, well, that's one of the
Okay.
basic ones because when we don't have self love, and self love is not self like. In Spanish, I always heard my dad said,
Okay.
it's not the same to like than to love. In Spanish, the translation is, no es lo mismo querer que amar. There's a big difference between the two. It is so important that we get to a point of self love, not self like. And the difference between the two, I didn't even have in mind to say this. This is so important. Like is very conditional. right? We could like certain things. Whereas self-love is unconditional. And the reason why this is one of the powers that each and every one of us need to activate within in order for us to have a great year. This is especially important if you have a heartbreak, if you go through a breakup, if you have a disappointment with someone, some kind of rejection. This is what's going to carry you through that, right? Self love is what's going to allow you to not settle for breadcrumbs. And sometimes the reason why it's so
It's like that.
challenging for us to have that level of self love is because, again, we have layers. And layers can be any story we're telling ourselves, any mental programming we may have, any cultural programmings, societal programmings, right? If you have anything like that going on that can hinder you from seeing yourself clearly, there goes your self love. Now, I didn't think of sharing this, and it seems like this is going to be the year that I'm going to be sharing it because a lot of people want to hear this story about me. There was a hatred that hatred, that's a strong word, but it was hate. There was a hatred that I had about a part of
Yeah.
me, a part of my body that had to do with cultural. It was a cultural thing. This is huge. I used to hate my hair. Can you believe that? I used to hate my curls. And that hatred that I had affected my self love levels in such profound ways. It did not allow me to see the beauty of me. I mean, obviously, now I love my curls, and whoever doesn't like, well, they could just go ahead and you know what. But, and I say that with so much love, and that's the kind of self love that you must have. That even when someone says some ridiculous thing, you're like, well, bye, right? Because this is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. How dare you say this about me? Anyways, that hatred that I had, it was a cultural thing because growing up, I grew up hearing that hair like mine was bad hair. How detrimental that is to a little girl's self-esteem. So detrimental. And what I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize was the degree that that was affecting me. That was affecting how much I was showing up online. Unless I looked a certain way, I did not want to show up online, right? It affected the way I was relating with men. I didn't feel pretty enough, good enough, woman enough. Can you believe the crap that I'm just sharing with you? And so when you're not able to see yourself clearly, because you have some kind of belief, some kind of story, some kind of cultural conditioning or some wound, unless those things get healed and cleared up, it's impossible for you to reach the level of self love that's necessary for you to not settle for relationships that are less than what you deserve. It's impossible for you to
Mm-hmm.
get to a point where you can really fully show up as the confident being that you are, right? And the reason why I say that this is a power that each and every one of us have within, if you think about it, when we're born, when we're kids, just analyze kids. You see how confident kids are? They're like playing. They run in their diapers with no shirts and they don't care that they're like naked or whatever. They don't care if their hair is messy. We only start to care because here we are hearing people say, pero mira, muchacho, el diablo, we have our parents or relatives that say, hey, no, fix that hair. What are you doing looking like that? Do this, do that. And so then comes the shrinking, the complexes. There must be something wrong with me. And if we do not heal that, this is why if anybody tells you, oh, you just got to believe this, believe you're pretty, that's a whole bunch of crap when you have wounds going on. It's going to be hard for you to believe something when There's something
Yeah.
else that's more dominant and stronger within you. It's only when you bring that out to the light. This is why I do the work that I do, and I go deep. Like people that have worked with me, they're like, oh my God, Aura, wait, what? No, we're going to go deep. Because it takes that deep level of work for you to develop the
Mm.
kind of confidence and those really good beliefs that you want to have. It takes going deep and taking that out of the root. So then you could plant another seed and that new seed can take root. So self-love is one of those valuable powers that is so necessary so that you do not allow things to break
Yes.
you that can break you, right?
True. True. So then, so what is next? So what's the other what? Because you said you have five. I know we were talking about
Yes.
that now, but what are the five pointers that you have today? What's the number one? Give it to us.
Ooh, okay. So faith is one of them. Self love is another one.
Okay.
Discipline is the third one.
Mm,
Intuition and excitement. But you know what? You mentioned a word here, so I'm gonna have to add a sixth one. Didn't
okay.
have this plan. You mentioned focus, and that's so important. So I'm gonna say
Oh,
six, focus. So those are the five ones
yeah.
that I had in mind, but now I'm gonna add focus. So now it's six. Do you mind if I start talking about the next one? Because this is gonna be
Go ahead.
good.
No, go ahead.
So now I want to talk about faith. That is
Go
the
ahead.
other power that you have within you that it's going to help you carry through challenging times and it's going to help you manifest that life that you want. Now, what I'm about to say, I really invite people to feel the love with which I'm saying what I'm about to say. Hope is a verb and a word that has been used so much, and I think it's been to such a great disservice, and I'm going to explain why, because trust me, when I say something I know why I'm saying it. I want to clarify this. If you're feeling discouraged, having faith can be a big jump. So the next best thing is to have hope, right? But what you want to do eventually is move from having hope to having faith. And the reason why I say that is because, believe it or not, hope is a weak verb. I said it. It's a weak verb. If you think about it, and it's something
Yeah.
that we use a lot in our vocabulary. Well, I hope this, I hope that, I hope this. And if you think about it for a minute, when you say I hope, what do you think is also behind that hope? It's doubt. It's doubt. I hope this works.
Mm-hmm.
I hope. No, what you need is not hope, it's faith. Because what faith is belief in the unseen. It's utter
Mm-hmm.
belief. You believe it and that's it. It's not you hope it's going to happen. No, you know it's going to happen. There's a sense of certainty behind faith that hope lacks. That is why hope is okay when you're feeling discouragement. If you're feeling discouraged, you're going to want to move to having hope, right? Because in the in the feeling state, certain feelings can be such a big of a jump when you're feeling in a lower state. So you always want to go step by step, but eventually you're going to want to get yourself into a much higher state. Faith is a higher state because faith, what it does is that it also activates your capacity to block certain things. I'm going to clarify what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm going to use myself as an example. I have faith and I know I'm going to get my body back this year. I don't hope to get my body back. You kidding me? No, I have faith. I have faith. I'm going to be a size 2. I'm a size 5 right now. I'm going to be a size 2 If not a 0, trust me, I'm short, so it looks really good on me. If you're thinking, oh, that looks bony, no, it doesn't. Especially not when you are intentionally doing it. Just want to clarify, right? And so
Yeah.
when I say that faith activates the capacity to block certain things, it's the following. I don't have time to listen to people, to hear people, or for people to tell me, well, once you reach a certain age, it's hard to lose the weight. No, I'm blocking that. No, I have faith, right? Whereas hope, when you have hope and you remain in hope, it keeps that window open for flies to come in. That means that because you're not really certain about that, what you would like, if someone tells you, well, you know what, when you're 40, you could gain weight. You're gonna allow those auto suggestions and that seed to be planted. It's so important when you are wanting to manifest certain things in your life, when you are wanting to experience certain things in your life, faith is required because you got to block certain things. There's going to be people that are going to tell you certain things. You're like, what? What are you? No. And you have to have that certainty and be so grounded to block that, ignore that. I mentioned last year in your podcast, it's important to discriminate. When I say discriminate, I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about certain phrases. I'm talking about certain words. Discriminate against what you decide that you're going to hear. Discriminate, what it means is that you're making certain preferences. And you got to make certain preferences in terms of what you're going to listen to, what you're going to look at, what you're going to believe, right?
Yeah.
And so faith activates that capacity to choose what it is that you want while blocking what it is that you do not want. Faith also activates the invisible, if you think about it. Because when you have this certainty, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm, no matter what, this is it. This is it. Even though you cannot see it in your 3D reality, because you can literally see it, it starts manifesting almost out of nowhere. But it was out of somewhere. It was from within you because you had this unwavering faith. Whereas if you have hope, well, I hope it happens. Let me hope.
I hope I get the job. Out and are you gonna get it or not? You want it? I want this job. I know I'm gonna have this job. If you
It's
declare
different.
it,
It's a different vibration. Yes.
say
It's
it.
a different, it's a different vibration. And if you think about it, when you're hoping for things, even your behavior is different. Your behavior gets impacted because you're hoping. When I'm working out, because now I'm working out 5 to 6 times a week, even when I'm jet lagged, there's times I work out at 8 o'clock in the night in Milan, and I need to be in bed by a certain time because I have to wake up by a certain time. But you know what? Hey, I'm getting my 112-pound body, right? So it's a non-negotiable. See, when you have faith, you have non-negotiables. When you have hope, your behavior acts like you start behaving as if you have options. Faith, there's no option. This is what I'm having. This is what I'm getting. This is who I'm being. That's it. Point blank. Hope, well, you know what? I'm tired. I'm not going to do this. But meanwhile, I'm hoping for that body, right? Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. So faith also activates, by the way, your drive. Think about it. When you're certain that something is going to happen, how are you behaving? It activates your drive.
Yeah.
Hope
Absolutely.
doesn't really activate it. Hope actually weakens it. Right? And it weakens it because behind hope, again, and if you want to know how true this is, start analyzing yourself as you're hoping for things to happen. Really start thinking about what's behind that hope. I hope for this to happen, but what am I really saying? What am I really feeling? Am I feeling any doubt? And you're going to realize that there is doubt behind that. So faith activates your drive. This is why it's so important that you utilize the faith that it's already within you. And if you, and by the way, the faith that I'm talking about isn't necessarily in the Christian sense. And think about this, in the Bible,
No.
they mention a lot faith. There's a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
faith creates miracles in your life. It creates miracles in your life.
Yep.
And if you want to activate the faith, say for example, if all you're doing is feeling hope, start making different decisions in terms of what you're going to, the words that you're going to be utilizing. Because faith is also activated through words, believe it or not. We take that for granted.
Yeah, we do.
Be mindful of what you decide to listen to. Be mindful of what you decide to allow here in your eyes, right? What do I mean with that? Lately, I've been very picky as to who I want to be surrounded by. And I've noticed that when I surround myself by people that are so high vibe and they have high standards for themselves, there's something about that. It's contagious. It makes me want to raise my own standards. It activates the faith in whatever it is that I desire also for myself. So your environment can also play a role in activating your faith. Have you noticed that when you're around people that all they do is they're just sad and they're not doing much for themselves? And I say this with all due respect, they're not, complaining and all this kind of stuff. You start getting into hope. Why? Because you don't have role models around you that make you believe otherwise. So be mindful of the words that you are allowing into your life. See, as you're listening to this, you are allowing words to impact you and your life, right?
That's
and if
right.
you know me personally, you're allowing the environment to activate the faith within you just because you're listening to this. So be mindful of that. Be very mindful of that. Faith. That's the second power within you that is so important to be activated. By the way, self-love, when you want to activate self-love, there's so many ways to do it. I forgot to mention this earlier, so I want to mention this here. This is powerful, everyone. Many times we read. Now, what I'm about to say may sound controversial, but I'm gonna keep it very real here. There's so many things that we can do to activate the self-love, and there's so many ways to activate it. And many times we focus on aesthetics and outside things to activate that love. What do I mean with that? And it works, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's the way to really activate the profound, long-lasting love that we're all in need of and we all search for. So, for example, we hear a lot that in order to get ourselves to a point of self-love, you can work out, take care of yourself, exercise, start changing your diet so you can, whatever, or take baths, whatever. That's all good and dandy and it could help. But you want real long-lasting love, the one that it doesn't matter if you're big, if you're small, if you're whatever, chubby, whatever, inner work. Inner work. And I speak from personal experience. And I'm speaking from personal experience because let me tell you this. I went from 144 pounds to 112 pounds. And I'm not going to lie to you. I thought that when I was going to have that sexy body, which I did, man, I looked really good. I thought I would feel super good. Can you believe that even though I no longer weigh 112 pounds, I love myself a whole lot more and I'm a lot more confident now than when I weighed 112 pounds? And I say that because it's not the weight that is going to determine how much love you're going to have for yourself. It's when you see yourself so clearly, you see the beauty in you, regardless of whatever stage you are in your life. It's when you can love whatever wrinkles, whatever chichas, love handles or whatever. When you see the real beauty of you, that comes from inner work. That comes from dismantling all the beliefs, stories, ideas, and all this stuff, all the gunk within you that doesn't allow you to really have access to the love that is already within you. That's the way that you're going to really get to a
Correct.
place of true self-love. So don't let yourself be fooled that once I get a certain weight and all I have to do is these salt baths and all this kind of stuff. No. Oh, let me exercise. Exercise helps. I'm not saying it doesn't help, but it's not necessarily the way to get to that
Of
true.
course.
That's what I mean. I want to clarify because you know how sometimes people can twist your words and it's like, no, sweetie pie, that is not what I said. Listen again. You really get the
Yeah.
the real meaning.
Exactly. Yeah.
The
That's awesome.
the third power within that is so important to activate that will lead you to living your life by design in a very conscious way, like you will be literally creating the life that you want, is discipline. Discipline.
Oof.
Discipline. I want to talk about that for a bit. And I did mention that as one of the pieces of the motor that keeps us going in Motivational Monday Live this
Yeah.
past Monday. That was actually the first piece that I
Yep.
mentioned. And I used the
Yeah.
definition because I Googled it. And the definition that I used to explain discipline, because there was several definitions as I was looking it up, but the one that really drew my attention was the following. And I'm going to read it to you if you don't mind. The act of training people to obey rules or code of behavior through punishment for their disobedience. Now, I know
Yeah.
that's not a sexy definition. I know that. But I want you to really stay with me here because what I'm going to say is going to be of so much value to you. I promise you. And you're going to see why this definition is one of the greatest fit so that you can really apply discipline into your life.
Okay.
When it comes to rules and code of behavior, I mean your rules. You establish the rules for your life. You establish the code of behavior, or I like to say instead standards. We gotta have standards for ourselves. It's time that we elevate the standard for our life, right? So you decide the rules that you're gonna have for your life, the rules that you are gonna follow. Because believe it or not, we all are following some kind of rule, whether we are aware of it or not. Probably it's the rules, the cultural rules, societal rules, rules that your parents that you grew up with. You know what I'm saying? So we're all following rules. But
Yep.
when you're really wanting to create your life
Yes.
by design, you need to create your own rules and your own standards. And then you got to train yourself to follow those rules. Right? And when you follow your own rules, I want to say this. When you do not follow your own rules, you're going to lose trust in yourself. This is why obeying your own rules is so important because let me tell you this. When I decide that I'm going to do something, you know why I trust that it's going to happen? Because I've proven to myself that I can do it. Because I've obeyed my own self, my own rules, my own promise to myself. And you know what that does when you start obeying your own rules? You also start developing more self-confidence within yourself. Now, a lot of times people sometimes don't even dare to
Yes.
start something. It's because they don't trust themselves that they have the capacity to do it. But see, unless you do it and you train yourself to do it and you establish those rules for yourself, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make sure that this happens. You're not going to get to a place where you're going to actually develop the trust within yourself that you know that you have what it takes to make it happen. So it's so important. And when this definition uses punishment, I'm going to tell you what kind of punishment you can so-called punishment, because I don't think this is punishment, but when you're wanting to train yourself to do something, there has to be an element of punishment for disobeying your own rules. So say, for example, the times that I don't feel like working out or I feel like eating a whole bunch of sweets, I have a weakness for chocolate. I mean, I could eat a whole bunch of chocolate, like a whole bag of chocolate, like no joke. I'm not exaggerating here. So when I'm telling you I'm in this weight loss journey, I really mean I'm in this weight loss journey. All I have to do is remember the time that a
And then when
passenger
you least
said to me,
expect it,
tell me.
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. Go
Oh no,
ahead.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
want you to forget. Trust me,
Go
I'm
ahead.
not
Go
gonna
ahead. Go
forget
ahead.
the story. I'm not gonna forget the story. What you were gonna say?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying that when you tell them about the chocolate, because whenever we're tempted to quit something, it's when it more mostly appears, right? Like if someone wants to quit smoking, then all of a sudden there's people around you smoking. When it's like that temptation, it's like life, that rule of life. Like, okay, I'm gonna stop eating meat, and then whenever you go up to a party or something, guess what? There's a whole celdo, a whole pernil. There's like, God, and it's tempting, right?
That's why it's so important that you have some kind of so-called punishment for that disobedience. So all I have to do, I'm gonna use
Mm.
myself as an example. Whenever I don't feel like working out or I feel like just eating a whole bunch of chocolate, but I know it's not good for me and I know it's gonna get me to lose my figure, I just gotta remember what a passenger told me years ago. He said
Uh-oh.
that I look like Ugly Betty. Now, granted, granted, at the time I weighed 144 pounds. I started wearing glasses because I had messed up my eyesight while in college. I I was
Oh
breaking
my
out
God.
so bad. So can you imagine acne all like I'm gonna have to share that photo on social media. I cannot make this up. My face looked super round, and then
Oh my God.
I had always a bun. I was always in a bun, and then on top of that, I had braces. Go figure. So to him, I
Oh
look like Ugly Betty. He
my.
had the audacity to say it to me. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
And I remember during that time, just going up the stairs from the first floor to the second floor because I had excess weight for me. It may have looked cute because I would have
Mm.
people telling me, oh, you look so cute. You. I was a size 12. And can you imagine? I'm 5 feet, size 12. Going from the first floor to the second floor, I was already out of breath. I was like,
Mhm.
I would make believe I wasn't out of breath, but I was out of breath. And so all I have to
Wow.
do is remember how I felt, the fact that I didn't like the way I looked because it wasn't up to my own
Hmm.
standards. If I disobey the standards that I have for myself of great health,
Mm.
and plus my blood pressure was going up by a lot when I was overweight and I wasn't eating right. So there's a lot of consequences. That's all I have to do is remember that image and remember that time. That's enough. That's enough of a punishment for me. For me to be like, okay, let me go to my workout. Let me do what I know I gotta do. So
Yeah.
discipline is so important. You cannot rely on motivation. Many times we rely on motivation, and motivation actually is a liability. That's why I don't utilize that, or I don't say that's one of the powers that we have within, because it's not a power. It can turn into a liability, because motivation is a great starter, but it may not be a great finisher. Because the truth of the matter is
Mm.
that motivation is very fleeting. If I were to be honest with you, most of the time I am not motivated. Oh my God. There's times I'm not motivated to cook.
Yeah.
There's times I'm not motivated to post. There's times I don't think anyone, not even the most successful so-called people or the people that call themselves highly motivated, if they say that they're always motivated, they're lying to you. They're not telling you the whole truth.
Mm.
There are other things that they rely on to keep them motivated. And one of them is
Mhm.
discipline. And another thing too, as you become more disciplined, you start training yourself to follow your own rules. And if you don't follow your own rules, well, you know there's going to be consequences, and you remind yourself of those consequences. So that gets you back in your discipline. You're going to notice that as you take action, that's going to shift your mood. So people that they say that they're highly motivated, that's
Mm-hmm.
a crock up. That's a crock up everything. That's not good. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? They're not telling you the truth. They take action.
No.
People that are very successful, they take action. And
Mm-hmm.
their action changes their mood. I always feel good after I work out,
Yeah.
right? But at the beginning, I'm like, oh God, do I have to work out? Well, yes, if you don't want to look like Ugly Betty. So yeah, that's the third power within that you need to activate.
Okay.
The fourth one is intuition.
Intuition.
That's huge. Now I'm gonna say this because intuition is in each and every one of us. And when it becomes hard for you to access your intuition, that's because, again, and I'm going to sound repetitive, there's layers that is covering you from listening to your intuition. Please do not let anybody tell you otherwise. And I'm going to use also myself as an example. So when you have any limiting belief, any story that you're telling yourself, even though your intuition, you may be guided to do something, because you have some kind of belief that can stop you actually from listening to your own intuition. I remember when I started this entrepreneur journey, the mentor that I currently have, I have been wanting to work with her for years. I mean, I was following her for several years prior to working with her. And because at the time I had low
Okay.
self-esteem, I I didn't think I didn't think I belonged in that space because her branding is very luxurious, and it's beautiful, very, very beautiful. I mean, she really raised the standard for me. And something about her kept drawing me to her. I couldn't really pinpoint what it was, but something kept drawing me to her. But my intuition knew. My intuition knew. So, intuition, by the way, is a wisdom that we have within that cannot necessarily be explained
Okay.
in 3D. Don't you notice that sometimes you're guided to do something that doesn't make any kind of sense? But there's a wisdom that is within you
Mm-hmm.
that can see something beyond what you currently can see. And so something kept drawing me to her, but I kept hiring other people that I felt were more accessible or more affordable. And I'm going to tell you this.
Mm.
When
Yeah.
you do not follow your intuition, it can really cause a delay in the kind of life that you want to live, because it did for me. And so because I didn't feel worthy at the time to be in that space with that group of women,
Froze.
I kept
Say
hiring
say
other
that again.
people.
Sorry.
Say what again? Because I didn't feel worthy at the time of being in that space of that group of women, because here I am believing all these kind of stories and all this kind of stuff. I kept going against my intuition of hiring her. Plus, at the time, it felt
Mm.
like a big investment, right? It felt like a big investment because it wasn't $2,000. It wasn't even $3,000 to work with her. So, you guys, if you think $1,500 or $2,000 to work with someone is a lot, you need to raise your level of consciousness, of wealth consciousness. I say that with so much love. This was
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not, whatever. For me at the time. Now I don't view it that way. Money is energy. I view it very, very differently. But whatever. I let all of that stop me. And I kept hiring people that felt like they were affordable within my range or whatever. And it was a disservice to me. It was a disservice to me. It kept me more behind in my business. I took too long to do certain things. And I want you to know that intuition, when you lean into your intuition, when you learn to trust it, that's when the path starts opening up for you. Your path starts opening up. And I'm going to bring again a story of mine as an example. I think I was 21 to turn 22. I must have been 21. I felt this calling to go to Google, and Google, I don't know what I wrote in that Google box, but I wanted to Google something, volunteering something international. I don't even remember the phrase, but to do some kind of volunteer work. But for some reason, the word international kept coming to me. And what came up as the first thing in Google was the opportunity to volunteer at JFK Airport, right?
Okay.
And it was Traveler's Aid. I still remember this. And something kept pulling me. I clicked on it. I learned about it. And something kept pulling me to look into it. I remember I applied. I was the youngest person to volunteer with them at the time. And I
Wow.
volunteered. And mind you, I had a 9 to 5 job. So I'm putting emphasis on certain things because I really want you to get how for some people, certain things may not make any sense. I was working 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And then every Saturday, I was volunteering at the airport, working basically for free, working for free. And so I remember some people at the airport were telling me, why are you doing this? Like, why? You have a 9 to 5 job. Why are you doing this? And I was the youngest one. I don't know what led me to that. I just know that something kept telling me to volunteer at the airport. Little did I know that the universe was preparing the territory for another door to open up, which was to be a flight attendant. Can you believe that? I am pretty sure that had it not been because I volunteered at the airport while I had a 9 to 5 job, that some people thought I was crazy for doing that, right? Because here I am in my uniform every Saturday, even though I worked Monday to Friday. Do you hear how I want the audience to really hear that? That may not sound like it makes any sense. So you're literally working 6 times a week, and one of those times is for free. But that was preparation. Now looking back, the universe was preparing the territory. Here I am practicing my language skills. I know almost 5 languages, so I was utilizing those languages at the airport, making referrals, but that was not the intention though. But it was the universe's intention. So when you are guided to do something, when you feel guided to work with someone, when you feel guided to listen to something, when you feel guided to follow someone, and a lot of times that guidance isn't something that is so loud. It could be something so subtle as, I feel drawn to this person, but I don't understand why. You gotta follow that. You gotta listen to that because there's truth to that. Right. And how do you access your intuition when it's so hard to access it? Well, there's so many ways, but to me, one of the biggest ones is inner work. The more I work on myself and the more I dismantle the lies that I've been telling myself, the more I can see the truth that I'm being guided to follow. Yes. And then the 5th one is excitement. Excitement. Excitement is contagious. Excitement is contagious. Excitement raises your vibe, right? Excitement. Excitement is a currency. It's your currency. I'm not saying that if you don't feel excitement, you fake it. No, you don't want to fake excitement. Excitement is not something necessarily that you can fake, right? But the way that you're going to get to excitement is by being mindful of what you're thinking. Because a lot of times the reason why we feel the way we feel is because we're thinking things that lead us to feel the way we feel. Sometimes it's the soul letting you know something, right? But excitement is something that you want to
Right.
start activating. A lot of times the excitement gets extinguished because we get bogged down by life. But that's when we have to learn to build the resilience within so that we don't let life bog us down. Excitement is what's going to fuel you. Excitement makes you magnetic. Think about it. Right now, I was like, well, you want to be excited because excitement
I,
is what's going to get you.
oh my God! Listen. Let me. When you're on a podcast as a guest, and this is not pertaining to, but this to emphasize more on that example. When you are invited to a podcast, no matter how tired you are, no matter what you don't know what the podcast is about, bring that excitement. Don't fake it. Neither. Don't fake it. But bring that excitement. Bring that. Put the mic in a good angle, right? Because I think that's important. Because I think that says a lot about us, Aura.
Yes, it
It
does.
says a lot that says, "Oh, I'm a very positive person," and you're like this. Oh yeah, I'm very positive. I'm very motivated person. Yeah, I love my life, and I'm very excited. Yeah.
It's not
It is,
believable.
right? It's not. But when you're like, man, I'm ready. I'm pumped. Listen, it's 2023. I'm so ready. I'm excited for a brand new. That's why people say, man, Angel sounds like he has like some energy drinks or something. I don't. It's just that I'm excited to be on this platform
Yeah.
because not only am I connected with great people such as yourself, but I'm gonna learn something new, and I'm learning today because I'm taking notes and I'm gonna learn. This whole journey with this podcast to me has been a learning experience. That's all I gotta say.
Angel, can I share a really quick story? I promise this is going to be a great value to you all. I remember I had an interview with a podcast. It was called Love Your Enthusiasm. That same day, this was in 2020. And 2020 for me, for everyone, it was like a roller coaster. For me, it was definitely a roller coaster. And at the time, my mom got so sick. I mean, so sick. I was
Yeah.
every month in the ER. That's something that nobody knew except for very close people. And that morning, I was not in a good mood because I was like, damn, my personal life right now is becoming a mess because here my mom is getting very sick and I have to care for her. I am not enthusiastic right now. So the way, and this ties back to the excitement part. And I remember telling one of my friends, I have a podcast in an hour podcast episode. Love your enthusiasm, and the last thing I feel right now is enthusiasm. And she's like laughing. How did I get
Oh my god.
how did I get myself enthusiastic slash excited? I had to connect back to my why. Why am I doing this? Right? How much I love doing this, how
Mm,
much I love doing this work. So when you're wanting to activate excitement that you don't feel, go back to your why. Why are you doing the things that you're doing? Why it matters, right?
exactly.
And
Hmm.
you start pumping yourself up. And then one last thing, the last thing that you mentioned, because I was only going to say five things, but this is very important, is your focus. Your focus is
Yes.
everything. Because what you focus on, and focus comes from within, right? That's another power of yours. Your focus is what you tend to magnify. Your focus is what your life becomes about. Your focus can either distract you or it could keep you going. What do I mean with that?
Hmm.
If I start focusing on what everybody is doing and oh, how fulanita de tal, which means so and so in Spanish, what so and so is doing and blah blah blah, that focus can deviate me from the path that I'm wanting to get to. So your focus is very important. Your focus is everything. It will dictate how you start thinking, how you start feeling, how you start acting, right? So focus,
Hmm.
you want to mind your focus.
Yeah. And I think and as I'm glad that you added that because I think focus and discipline run together constantly, right? You have a code of behavior, and if you're focused, you have a certain behavior towards a target, towards a goal or something, because you're
Mhm.
focused. So I think
Yes,
focus and discipline, I don't know, that
they go hand in
sounds
hand.
go hand in hand. They do.
Yes, they do.
Listen,
Yes, they
Aura.
do.
So you have covered a lot as far as like utilizing that power within. If you brought in let's review real quick. What was, let's start from the top. What was the first one? I have them here, but I want you to say them so if someone's listening to the replay.
Self-love, faith, discipline,
Okay.
intuition,
Hmm.
excitement, and focus.
Focus. Okay.
Thanks to you, I
Perfect.
added that because that's important.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Because and I think what the message here is that people need to realize that power that you have with a woman or men. Entrepreneur, I think when we talk about entrepreneurs, is male or female, you have to utilize the power that you already have within. It's already within you. Use it. Use those keys. Don't look for the outside. Look, you have it in you already, right? And I think you work a lot on that. So all right, you have, look, time has flown already, and 1 hour
Mhm.
exactly, and it seemed like there was 10 seconds, to be honest with you. Oh my God. Listen, Aura, um, talk really quick about this wonderful book that we have here, just briefly, for the first time that maybe viewers have not tuned in before. If you're watching this podcast, we've talked about this book before. Where can I get this book? Where can I get this book that's not just Amazon? Where can we get this
Yeah.
book that it'll come from you, someone that you couldn't even order this at? Where can they get this book?
So, creating a lifetime of wellness, you can get it by going to www.auraemartinez.com. And when you go to the shop option, you're going to see where you could purchase the book. And I discuss different areas of our life that we tend to disregard at times, that they all play a very important role in us creating that lifetime of wellness. And I made the book short on purpose. I don't know about you, but time right now is of essence, right? And so I wanted it to be a quick read, but
Yes,
something that you can really start implementing into your life starting now, right? Because it doesn't have to be difficult for you to start creating that lifetime of wellness. It doesn't have to be difficult.
that's right. That's right. Look, less than 140 pages. 140 pages, not look real thin. So it's easy. That's what I love about it. And enjoy that book. And not only read it, I know the author. That's different. You see, this one thing is to have a book like I don't know John Maxwell. I know Aura Martinez, right? So that's the whole difference. So also, people could follow you on Facebook and Instagram, right? This new motivational live that you're doing on Mondays, and you said no matter if you're on the other side of the world or wherever you live, you are committed to bringing that live. So
Yes.
talk to us. How did that come about?
Yes. Motivational Monday Live, and I also do it in Spanish, Lunes de Luz en Vivo. This came about. Mondays tend to be one of those days of the week that we tend to dread, right? So I want people to look forward to Mondays, at least Monday nights, right? So this is meant to be edutainment, educational, but also entertaining at the same time. The intention is to lift your level of consciousness, to get you so connected to you, to dismantle the things that can be standing in your way, right? And you will get an idea of my style and who I am and what I do. So it's so many things all in one. I wanted it to be like
Yeah.
almost like a Saturday Night Live type of thing, but upliftment. And it's so far from
Okay.
motivation because yeah. So
Yeah.
far from motivation.
Yeah. It's not just about good, it's but then you also have about the groups. You have two groups, the English and Spanish groups, Inner Globetrotters. Is that correct? On Facebook. Talk
Yes,
to us about that. What is the
yes,
group about for people who want to join that group? What is it about?
yes. So it's for those that wanna they're interested in personal development. It's all about self discovery, empowerment, right? Those that want to experience greater levels of well being. So I always do monthly trainings there. I also interview different experts of different
Okay.
backgrounds that talk about all kinds of subjects, all related to wellness, well being, empowerment. So if you're looking to improve your life and step into the highest version of you, this is the group that you're going to want to be a part of.
That is awesome. One last question. And this is a serious question. What is something that Aura E. Martinez, wants to accomplish this year that she feels she has not yet accomplished?
Oh my God, that is a serious question. The word that comes to mind is more impact. I want to impact more lives, more
Impact.
people to know about the
Impact.
work that I do. Yeah,
Okay.
more people to know the impact that I do. The impact, the work that I do, have more impact in people's lives. Impact. That's the word that came up actually. I want to impact
Yes.
more lives. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think you will. I think you will because you have the charisma, you have the excitement, you have the intuition, you focus, you're disciplined, you have faith, and you have self love. See, you have all of that. So I know that you have been on many podcasts. Before we go, I almost forgot TEDx Talk. How did you get on that TEDx Talk? Is it on YouTube? I
It
want
is
send
on
me the
YouTube.
link
I will. You froze.
on the so make sure you we leave here tonight.
I don't know what you said because you froze. I'm so sorry. I the last thing I
Oh,
heard
oh
was, oh my
no,
God, when
no,
I
no, no. Send me the
listen,
link. Send me the link.
I will.
Send me the link for the TEDx. That's what I said. Yeah, and then talk to us
Okay.
about TEDx. Talk about that experience.
Yeah.
People hear about TEDx like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Can you briefly say mention what that's
Yes.
about?
Well, TEDx is a big organization, and the whole idea is to spread a new thought, a new concept, to spread ideas. That's the whole concept of TEDx, right? And X just means that it's local. So this opportunity, I
Okay.
felt like it was God, literally. Literally. I felt like it was God because I was so close to missing the opportunity. It just came to me so quickly and I just knew I had to
Wow.
jump on it. And I tried for 2 years, of course, in another TEDx for 2 straight years in another state in different places and it didn't work out. So the power of really believing in yourself, that's like huge. But it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had and you could find it on YouTube. Yes, and on TED.com as well. You could find
Okay.
the talk.
You send me the link so
I will.
upload the video now. I want to include all that under with your bio and whatnot. Aura Martinez, thank you. It's an honor to again. Looking forward to having you another time during this 2023 year, maybe before we close out the year. Looking forward to having you again. I just saying thank you. I see a bunch of hearts, the care heart, the likes. A lot of people will share this content. So, all right, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will talk
Thank
to you
you.
soon.
I thank you for having me here.
Any
Thank you.
any
Thank
last
you.
words for the absolutely. Any last words for those young entrepreneurs excited right now? They have that excitement right now for a new year. Maybe some detours ahead. There may be some speed bumps. Any words of encouragement that you want to say? Of course, within what you were talking about today.
I promise you that if you implement everything that I just shared here, because all of this will apply no matter what it is that you're wanting to do, it also applies in business as well. All of this will carry you through.
Okay,
It will carry you through.
perfect. Yes, just stay focused, discipline, excitement, have faith, self love, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, Aura Martinez.
Bye.
Take care. God
Thank
bless.
you. Bye.
Welcome. All right, folks. So there you have it, folks. Once again, the new season has started. Thank you for your comments, your likes, and whatnot. Please share this content. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow myself on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram under Angel Santos Podcast. Follow me on Twitter as well under Angel Santos 75. Okay. Also, guys, our download is also available. Not just this content, but a lot other contents that I've had in the past. It's available on the Anchor app. Okay, Anchor Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Amazon Music. All right, folks. So you can always download the pre-recorded audios there as well. All right. And I want to give a special shout out to a friend of mine, Carlos Cepeda with Quest for Life Productions. Carlos Cepeda and I are going to be working on some new program right now to see what God has in store this year. There may be a possibility with radio and done with the podcast as well. So Carlos Cepeda, also he's a local auto salesman here in the Orlando area. So if you're looking to purchase a vehicle, I want to give a special this dude is always throwing out their content. He's always on Facebook, on Instagram, and he told me, hey Angel, I want to get together with you and work on something. So there's something special that may be coming out soon. So Carlos, I'm looking forward to that, man. Blessings to you and your family. I'm going to have your details on the description as well, so that if anyone needs to buy a car in the Orlando area, not only can he get you into a car, he could get you approved as well. All right, folks. So there you have it, guys. Before we leave, I do want to leave you with a special word, as I like to end always on this podcast. And I also have my Positive Sunday podcast, which is going to be airing some new episodes on Sunday, which is more about the Bible, more about scriptures, and more of a positive vibe. Not to take away from this podcast, because we do bring here something positive as well, but more of the faith community, right? And I'd like to end today's scripture. This is a scripture that I picked out today to share with you guys, and it's in Psalm 46, because we know that 2022 ended up very rough. I know there was national news of, a lot of passings and people, and a lot of trouble that the world is experiencing now, and a lot of craziness, right? Let's just be honest, a lot of craziness that's going on there. But here's a word of encouragement that stays with you today and every day and enters your heart. And in Psalm 46 says, God is our refuge and strength and ever present help in trouble. Meaning that it's always present. He's always there. God is always there, whether it's in the trouble or in the excitement or in the party or whatever, the gathering, but he's always there. Even when you feel the most alone, he's there. Okay. Therefore, We will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. So remember that God is our refuge and strength and ever present help in our trouble. All right, folks. There you have it. Listen, I'm going to be having a special guest on the next episode. There's going to be some great content in here that you won't want to miss. All right, guys. So stay tuned for the next episode. I'll keep you posted. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week and great rest of the month. And I hope you have an excellent 2023. Stay focused, stay disciplined, have faith, and review this whole content again. I know we extended it a little bit longer than usual, but we did it on purpose because we want to do it live because we didn't want to keep anything out. There's nothing that you could keep out on this material. All right, folks. So follow Aura Martinez on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. She's on all the social media platforms as well. And her YouTube. Subscribe to her YouTube. Leave a like and comment because she's also going to have her motivational videos aired there on the YouTube channel. So look it up. God bless you guys. I love you. Whether you share this or not, I still love you. God bless. Peace. I'll see you soon. Take care.